Good morning everyone. Today I'm building part 2 of the city building series. You guys seem to like the last video, so I'm going to continue this series. Also, on a side note, you might notice that I made some changes to off camera. I've extended the road and I've also added a train line, which I plan to extend throughout the series. So first things first, I start off by building a little perimeter for the tower that I'm planning to build this time. I make the base out of grey concrete and I make the windows out of light blue stained glass. And I keep this pattern throughout the entire building. So I'll have one layer of grey concrete and then I'll have 3 layers of light blue stained glass. You might notice that I kept a very oddly shaped gap in the front, and this is because I'm planning to add that as a doorway, and I didn't want to make it really, I don't want to make like a 2x2 doorways for every single tower that I build. So this time I decided to have the doorways separate. So, going back a few years into my childhood, I remember building something like this out of Legos when I was a little kid. They weren't your regular Legos, they were called like nano block Legos, and my dad had gotten them for me and they came all the way from Japan. They were really tiny, much smaller than actual Legos, so they got lost pretty easily. But that's, not about the point. I actually So the set that my dad had gotten me was a city block, the same thing that I'm doing right now. And in one of the towers was actually the same tower I'm building in this video. So that's where I'm getting my inspiration from. Back then, in reality, I wasn't that smart. I was like, 7, 8 years old, so I actually didn't know how to read the instructions and build the towers myself. So I had to get my siblings to build it for me. And usually, when you have Legos, you break it apart and then you put it back together again, and you do all that good stuff. Me, I never broke it apart. I would always keep it in my room and just stare at it for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. I was never really fond of breaking it apart and then rebuilding it back again, because if I broke it apart, I would be too dumb to build it back again. So throughout the majority of this video, I'm just gonna, be constantly doing this. 1 block of grey concrete and then 3 blocks of light blue stained glass. I was actually thinking about time-lapsing this, but for some reason, the software that I'm using isn't cooperating with time-lapses. It's taking a lot of CPU usage to just upload the video. So I'm gonna have to keep it at normal speed, and I understand that a lot of you guys might have wanted me to time-lapse it, but unfortunately I can't do that. I might try to fix the problem later on, but if you guys have any tips, you can write it in the comment section down below. So like I mentioned before, I did actually try to time-lapse this video, and I still have that video, but I deleted it. And that's because when I tried to save it to my computer, it took a lot of CPU usage and it was going like 0.01% at a time. And I knew that it would take like 5 hours to just save it to my computer, and it was using 100% of the CPU like I said before. So I got a little concerned that it might overheat the PC, and that's obviously gonna cause problems. So I cancelled the save and I had to delete the video. So now I'm actually re-editing and voicing over this video again. Instead, this video is not time-lapsed. So yeah, it's not the greatest outcome I was hoping for, And I'm not sure exactly why, it can't upload a time-lapse video. I don't think I don't have any like really consumptive or CPU hard tasks to run. So I'm not sure why it's not working. So back to the build, I didn't want to make this tower too big, especially when compared to the tower next to it that I built in the last video. And that's because I'm planning to make an avenue or a main street later on, and I want to keep like the much larger, more commercially centered buildings on it. And I want that to be like a main district of the actual city itself. And the towers I'm building right now on like small streets, and I don't want them to be super big. So that's why you might see me zoom back or go back and check how big the tower is in comparison to the tower I built in the last video. Okay, so I'm finally done with making the shell of the building, and now I move on to the roof. So for the roof, I decided to go for a right triangle shape with the front side slanting up and the back side just flat. And later on in the video, I go back and I like trim it down by 3 blocks or shorten it down because I didn't want it to look too big like I said last time. Here I just fill in the back side of the roof. Okay, now that I'm done with the outer shell of the roof, I'm moving on the interior, and I just fill in the base of the roof with, again, gray concrete. Okay, now I'm moving to the interior of the tower, and for this tower, I also don't add in any like upper floors or any other floors other than the ground floor, and that's because I'm too lazy to work on the interior. If you guys want me to work on the interior, then you can say in the comment section down below. But for right now, I just clear out the ground, and I use quartz blocks for the floor, and for the doorways, I use spruce doors. So while I was putting in the doors, I wanted it to like the door on the left side to face the right, and the door on the right side to face the left. But you know how in Minecraft, when you place down two doors, or when you only place down one door, it always faces towards the right. And I find that kind of annoying because I have to like break two blocks and then add another door there that's facing to the right, and then the second door that faces to the left, towards the right facing door. I wish that, Minecraft would add in a feature that would allow you to face the door the way you wanted it to. This is what I was talking about. You have to break the two blocks next to the door so that you can have the doors facing the proper way. Okay, here I trimmed down the roof by 3 blocks because it was looking too big, especially when compared to the neighboring tower. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, subscribe and like this video to support the channel.